What exactly are we watching today? Well, we are watching Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. When this was announced, this was one of the things I was most looking forward to seeing. Just mainly because I am very biased to the Clone Wars style, because it's going to be dealing with Ahsoka stuff, but as well as the stuff I'm really interested in is it's going to be dealing with Dooku before the events of anything, before Phantom Menace and anything, young Qui-Gon and all that. And though these are split up into shorts, they're about like 15 minutes each roughly, I still figured, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna watch all of them at once and make it kind of like a movie. And since it's like a movie, we will be using the Nostalgia Bates set. It's just, again, moving from over there to over here, and we have this little thing. I used this previously for my reaction to Dragon Ball Super Broly a while back, and I haven't really revisited since then, but again, since we're doing this kind of movie style, you do the math, about 15 minutes, 6 episodes, about 90 minutes. Plus, it's a bunch of Star Wars goodness. It's nostalgia for the Clone Wars and everything, got my Clone Wars get up going. I am really excited to get into this, so let's not hem-haw and wait any longer. Let us get right into the first episode, which is Life and Death. A child goes through a rite of passage with unexpected results. I know exactly what this episode's probably going to be dealing with, but yeah, let's be surprised. Oh god, I feel a sneeze coming. I feel it. Ow, that one hurt. What? I am getting error codes. I guess we're not watching this thing. Does it say I'm recording it? How much you want to bet? You're a pussy, Disney. Fuck off. So yeah, that reaction did not go as planned. I just need to learn, bro. Just don't make plans for anything. Because every time I say that I'm gonna be doing something, and then I'm about to do it, it never goes as planned. We're just gonna stick to surprising you, okay? So yeah, I was getting ready to react to all of Tales of the Jedi. Again, did not go as planned. Disney is racist to Elgatos. But that did not stop me from watching all of them right there and then, however. I went through all of those shorts, and then once my family got home, I watched all of them again as well. I went through Tales of the Jedi twice yesterday. This reaction is now being turned into just a review, which is probably better, because that way I don't have to worry about Disney copywriting my ass. I hope you could see me, by the way, because I don't know if this is like overexposing me. This isn't exactly how I intended to use the Nostalgia Bates set, but here we are. So either way, Tales of the Jedi, right away, I'm just gonna say, it was absolutely incredible. I just love the Clone Wars style, like just the CG, the art, god. Everything they've done since season 7 has somehow, they're like ufotable. It's like, how the hell are they getting better and better? I'm jumping forward a bit, but the last episode with Ahsoka's fight with the Inquisitor, that fire in the background, that was just real fire. Just the particle animation in this show, the cloth, the fluid, it's just so amazing. I'm just gonna go through one by one each episode kind of thing and split it up, and then we'll do it like that. Again, my reaction was gonna be where I was just watching all of them at once, but again, didn't happen. So I'll simply just break down each of them one by one and tell you what I loved about them. Starting with episode 1. Episode 1, I was already tearing up because it's the birth of Ahsoka, and we are also introduced to her mother, Pafti, I think. And I forget what her dad's name is, but yeah. It was a cute story. It was just cool seeing, Ahsoka's birth, and then right after that they jump forward to when she's a year old, and then she's taken on her first hunt with her mom. And I'm sure everyone watching this all around the world collectively was bracing to see Ahsoka's mom die, but she didn't. Like, her parents don't have to be dead. It's not long after the events of this episode that Plo Koon shows up and finds her. Well, that's the thing, though, because the whole plot of this is that Ahsoka is taken by, like, this saber-toothed tiger, kind of like this, like, Mowgli thing happens. And, of course, she uses the Force and whatnot for the first time and, befriends the tiger, and then it takes her back to her village. The elder lady is just like, Ahsoka is Jedi. It's like, yeah, she is. For about 15 years. Because, one of her most iconic lines is, I'm no Jedi. But, again, still cool. Because, again, the story is that Plo Koon finds Ahsoka. The way this story kind of sets it up is that they find out she's a Jedi and then stuff happens. I don't know. I feel like there still needs to be like one more little piece of detail. Honestly, I was kind of hoping the first episode would end with Plo Koon showing up and taking her. I mean, there's still that scene in Clone Wars that shows it briefly. One day, hopefully, we'll get a little more context to that. It was a really good starting episode, but then we go into episode 2. It's interesting how they chose to split these up. It's 6 episodes, 3 of them dealing with Dooku and 3 of them dealing with Ahsoka. It's just interesting because it's like the first episode's Ahsoka and then the next 3 deal with Dooku and then the last 2 deal with Ahsoka. Whatever. I get it. They wanted to book open and book close with Ahsoka, which again, I will not complain about. But either way, episode 2, for me personally, it was the weakest of all of them. I would say it's my least favorite. I mean, it's cool seeing a really young Qui-Gon as well as younger Dooku. I don't know if I'm wrong about this, but I swear I heard the person who voices young Qui-Gon is Liam Neeson's son. I don't know if that is actually the case. I probably just look that up, but someone let me know because I don't actually know for sure if that's the case. I mean, it was a fine episode. It was really atmospheric. It's just, for me, this was the one that I found the most boring, I guess. It's interesting seeing Dooku without a beard. It's cool seeing the start of, like, Dooku slowly turning to the dark side. Corruption such as yours must be exterminated. I just love Corey Burton. It's like, obviously, like, rest in peace to Christopher Lee, but Corey Burton does an amazing job as Dooku. Yeah, episode 2, my least favorite of him, but it's still at its good points. Episode 3. I would say then is my next least favorite. I enjoyed it a little more than episode 2 just because like we had Mace Windu accompanying Dooku on this mission and slowly showing that divide that grows between Dooku and the Council and how ultimately this mission decided whether or not this is how Mace Windu ends up on the Council, but then Dooku kind of gets that little hint of almost jealousy, being like, oh, you got the seat of that fallen master and I didn't get anything. I mean, it was interesting just showing, it's just like, yeah, Windu is just so by the books. It's like your dedication to order and law is maddening. I mean, it's just cool seeing the clash of those two ideas, I guess. And it was cool seeing at the end of this episode him, that one guard on Raxus, which is the planet that ends up being the Separatist capital. It's cool him kind of forming his first little alliance there with the guard. So you didn't execute your plan that well, but your ideals are something I can understand. Oh, I forgot I was gonna have these out. Fitting. But then we get into episode 4. Episode 4, hands down, is my favorite of all of them. It was the one I was looking the most forward to. I was surprised. The episode opens with Dooku going into the archives and deleting Kamino. So now we know, when we rewatch episode 2, Attack the Clones episode 2, that it was Dooku who erased that file. And it just adds a little thing to like when Yoda's just like, only a Jedi could have erased those files, and it's like, ooh. But it was cool also because right after that, Dooku talks to Jocasta, just like, why are all these Jedi, like, what is everyone talking about? Like, why is everyone whispering and whatnot? Your former apprentice encountered supposedly a Sith Lord on Tatooine. It's just like, oh shit, this is right during episode 1. That's freaking awesome. And then right after that, he meets up and says hello to Qui-Gon, and it's Liam Neeson. It's like, oh fuck. That realization, just like, oh, that means this is right when they came back after leaving Tatooine. So it's like, it would have been around when Anakin was doing that like test with the Council. Qui-Gon was talking to Master Yaddle, which is a cool thing. Master Yaddle, voiced by Bryce Dallas Howard. She does a great job, all things considered. But yeah, it was just a really cool scene. It was pretty much Dooku kind of just saying his last, like, I'm proud of you, proud of what you've become. And then Qui-Gon being like, oh yeah, Obi-Wan is now looking after me. Just, of course, Dooku then being like, I really hope I could meet him one day. And then, of course, the sad thing of being like, they grow up so fast. But then the chilling scene, we jump forward a bit in time. Dooku's looking at the tree and whatnot, just like I used to bring Qui-Gon to this tree. And then Yaddle talks to him, it's just like, the Council's left for Naboo for the funeral. It's like, oh, damn, so now this is after episode 1. There's only like one scene in Attack of the Clones when Dooku's talking to Obi-Wan where he talks about Qui-Gon. It's just like he was a good friend and whatnot. I have to rewatch that scene again now after seeing this, because it's like, it's cool seeing him, despite at this point him already working with Sidious, it's like he still cares about. Then Dooku officially, like, he leaves and he goes and meets up with Sidious. He's just like, you've gone too far. You let Maul kill Qui-Gon. But I mean, Sidious also jabs back with clothing. It's like, you lost an apprentice and so did I. I mean, mine's not dead, but you know, we don't find that out until later. It's a cool thing. It's just like, 'cause this is the last of like Dooku being on the light. I know it's in like some books and whatnot, but I'm still like, I want to know just how exactly Sidious like tempted and reached out to Dooku. Kind of wish they delved into that a little bit here, but ultimately like Yaddle followed him there, and then that leads to a pretty cool fight between Dooku and Yaddle. It's kind of mirroring what's gonna happen later in Attack of the Clones when he fights Yoda. That is a sad thing though, because it's like Yoda and Dooku didn't interact at all in these. I mean, I get, because I don't think Tom Kane has recovered yet, because I know Tom Kane, who's the voice of the Clone Wars version of Yoda, he recently had a stroke which messed up his vocal cords, which sucks because, like, you know, he has an amazing voice. I mean, it was still cool seeing like this Yaddle fight, especially since like this is the first time Yaddle's, one, ever spoken, and two, is like she's actually a character. It's gonna make you feel some type of way when you rewatch episode 1 and you see her in the background. It was an awesome fight, and it's like, yeah, then this is what leads to Dooku like fully reforming and being on the dark side. Honestly, it did an amazing thing for Dooku's character. You have sympathy for him, which is like something you never really had for him just watching the movies and even Clone Wars. These shorts did a wonderful job at just making him an even better character. That was pretty much it for the Dooku segment, and now we get into Ahsoka's. If you're not familiar with the Galaxy's Edge lightsabers, let me show you a cool feature that these have. Pretty nifty. Episode 5, I would say easily is my second favorite episode, which is just Anakin training Ahsoka. It's my favorite, but it's also the shortest of the shorts. That's the thing about these shorts. These shorts were too damn short. It's so easy for like them to do Clone Wars stuff and to make me emotional. Fuck you, Dave. It was just cool because like it starts with like her doing this test with the training droids in front of some of the council members, and in the background you see Depa Billaba and Kanan, which is awesome. It goes later to Anakin and them her talking, and she's like, what's wrong? And he's just like, it's a stupid test. It's like, I'll give you a real test. And then she shows up to this hangar, and then there's a bunch of clones standing in a circle, and it's like, okay, set weapons to stun. Like, here's the real test. You gotta be able to predict the living. It was just cool seeing the like first generation of Clone Wars styles in like season 7 style, like, you know, Anakin's like armor and whatnot, the phase 1 clone troopers, phase 1 Rex, freaking Obi-Wan Kenobi and his clone armor and his freaking mullet. That was amazing to see. One gripe though, during the Dooku stuff, this is just a little nitpick, it's just something you notice. Plo Koon and Saizé Tin's models had their clone gauntlets on, which doesn't make sense because the clones weren't a thing yet, and it's like they didn't have the armor. It's just one of those things where it's like, come on, you couldn't have just fixed that about the models? Again, it's one of those things, it's whatever. But I mean, also the fact, it's like in that training scene, Windu should have had his gauntlets. He would have had those by that point. Either way, just stupid little things, but you know, it's the nerd eyes that see all. Either way, but then like it was just cool seeing just, you know, Ahsoka constantly getting knocked down, Anakin just being like, again, keep getting up. Then the thing that like freaking whiplashed me was like the next time she gets knocked down, she then wakes up again, and then it's like, oh, we jumped forward because Rex and all the boys are in their phase 2 armor. She's in her like year 2 of the Clone Wars getup. She has her Shoto saber, doing the same drill like probably every day. Like once it got to that point, I was just like, please show Anakin in his year 2 getup as well, and they did, because for me personally, that's my favorite drip for Anakin. Season 3 to like season 6 look. They showed it briefly, but it was just brief enough where I was just like, oh, I love that. Also, wait, going back a bit, the scene that absolutely destroyed me was a scene that had so many layers to it. It's like, Dave, you know what you're doing, and I love it. Was the scene where Ahsoka got knocked down for the first time, and then Anakin picked up her lightsaber and held it out to her like this. It's like, that has so many layers to it. It's like at the end of season 5 when Ahsoka's been proved innocent and he gives her braid back and he holds it out to her like that. And then it's also like at the end of the Clone Wars when Ahsoka's holding her lightsaber and then she just lets it go. So many layers to that. I love it. But either way, that was episode 5. We now go into the last episode, episode 6. I'd say my third favorite. Honestly, if I'm going to rank all of them, it would go 4, 5, 6, 1, 3, 2. This one was a good one to end on. I mean, right away, it opened with Padme's funeral. It shows Bail, and then he looks up and sees in the crowd that Ahsoka's there. There needs to be an in-between of that now as well. The time between Padme's funeral and, like, Order 66, it's like a day or two? Because when Order 66 happens, it's like Ahsoka's like, she's wherever the heck that planet was at the end of Clone Wars. It's like, how did she find out that Padme died? Like, well, I'm sure it's a thing, maybe she sensed it, because, you know, that's one of the big tipping points of everything. It's nice to see, and it's sad just because it's like Ahsoka's literally, the animation just done so well, just showing it's like she's literally holding back the tears, just like she was my friend. It's like, as much as Anakin was like an older brother to her, I imagine it's like Padme was like an older sister to her. I mean, you saw that a lot in the Clone Wars. Yeah, it does that, and Bail gives her the little, like, transmission thing. It's just like, if you ever need me, contact me. Does a cool shot of her jumping off the edge like Batman. And then you see her meet up with Rex, and they're Y-wing. It's like, oh, okay, so this, I mean, it would make sense. It's like, it's right after that. But again, I feel like there still has to be a thing of just like, what happened? When did her and Rex split off, and why did they split off? I understand that there's the book, like that's still up on the air, and whether or not that's like fully canon yet, because this short mainly is kind of replicating a lot of what happens in the Ahsoka novel. I mean, obviously not one for one, there's a lot of little details, or I mean pretty big details actually, that, because I know they said they don't want to like retcon the book, even though season 7 did. But it's like, yeah, Ahsoka's on a farm, she fights an Inquisitor, but the way she defeated it was different. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, this it could happen again at another time. It's like, it didn't have to be this Inquisitor. Because I think it's like the third brother or something that she kills by unbleeding the crystals and freaking blowing him up or some shit. And that's how she gets her white crystals. I don't know, it was still a pretty cool scene, I guess. Just her showing, like, her getting back into the fight and becoming part of the rebellion, like how we see in Rebels. It was a pretty cool bookend. But either way, all of that was Tales of the Jedi. Overall, an absolutely phenomenal shorts show. I really hope they do more. It gives me hope that it says season 1. I don't know, a lot of things on Disney Plus say season 1, and they're never getting a second season. Hopefully this does. Visions is getting a season 2, so I hope that this gets more as well. Just because, you know, obviously I'm biased as shit to Clone Wars. If they do more shorts and they do some for Maul, I will lose my mind. I usually, you know, with my reviews for stuff, I do it on a 1 to 10 scale. But for Star Wars stuff, again, if you look at that video up there, I did a tier list of everything Star Wars a while back ago. And for me, I'd say that is how I ultimately review my Star Wars stuff, is where I will place them on the tier list. For Tales of the Jedi, I'm not gonna put it up in true Jedi tier with Clone Wars. I say I will definitely put it in A tier. It was really freaking good. Just for episode 4 and 5 alone, like those are episodes that I will definitely be rewatching a lot. And definitely when it comes to doing rewatches of stuff, those are episodes I'm gonna consider. Apologies for not being able to react to it and whatnot. Probably it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna be watching a lot of Disney Plus stuff, which is unfortunate because when Mandalorian season 3 comes back, I'd really like to watch that. Hopefully I can figure stuff out by then. I've still got time till then, 'cause I think it's like March or something when that's coming out. Also, stay rest assured, I will be reviewing Andor once it's finished, once season 1 is finished. But just so you know, right now, I really freaking love Andor. Hopefully that the next couple episodes bring it home in a really good way. And season 2, because I know that that's coming as well. All these shorts really made me look forward to the Ahsoka show that's coming out next year as well, and can't wait for all this Star Wars goodness that's going to be coming out. So thank you all for joining me on this. I'm Lancer. Thanks for watching.